lot of people call me the eBay guy. I worked for many years for eBay and teaching people. I worked as an eBay education specialist and taught people how to sell on eBay. And I've got a little pointer somewhere in that, so I should get that thing out. Use that. So I worked for eBay for a long time, and that's what I did, was travel around and show people how to start an eBay business. I'd already been selling on there. They approached me and said, will you do this? And it was way back when it was sort of new technology, but I liked it. But I've been selling on eBay. This makes year number 25 for me. I'm an eBay power seller, top rated plus seller, but I sell on Amazon, Etsy. I have a couple of websites. I use social media to market. I'm one of those people that make a living selling online. I run a home-based e-commerce business. I've had brick and mortar, but I don't anymore. So I like the home-based thing. I'm sort of one of those Mr. Mom people. Get up in the morning, first thing I do is grab my phone. I'm not greedy, but I have to look and see what I sold while I'm sleeping at night. That's an e-commerce thing. If anybody's already into it, you know this thing. I do next day shipping, so anything that sells, before midnight, I've told them I'm going to ship it the next day. And my mail comes about 10:30, so I got to get up, get it ready, box it up, print the labels, get it out. So then I breakfast the kids and I homeschool my kids. I've been doing that for a long, long time before the pandemic. But put stuff on the internet for sale on the different mediums that I use and those kind of things. But I pulled up my website. The website address is 12teachu.com. Contact information for me right here. If you need it after the class for follow-up questions, brand new questions, I'll be glad to help you. But I've got a link right here to my website where I've got handouts. And I teach all kinds of classes, so we'll talk about them really quick before we jump into what we want to do. But the one we're going to do right now, I'm going to do parts of selling online today. But I've got standalone eBay and Amazon and Etsy, those kind of things. These are just little Adobe PDFs. They will pop up after they fully download. So if anybody needs a handout of tonight's presentation or something, that will get you one. So I don't know, a lot of you guys have got your notes out. We're going to take them. I think that's great because everything we talk about won't be in this. It might be personal things that you guys ask. I just want you to know it's there. And like I said, by the number of handouts, I teach all kinds of classes. We're going to hit on this one tonight where we compare some of the big e-commerce platforms, which one might be right for your business. Some are more suited for certain kind of products than others. If you're new to e-commerce, you don't know that. I'd rather you not do the trial and error thing if you can help it. That gets discouraging, waste a lot of time. Sometimes I can just tell people, this one's right for you, that one won't work, those kind of things. But I teach standalone classes on, I don't know how many people in there make their own product or not, but if you've not tried Etsy, sometimes it's a really good site for people that just makes their own product. We all know what Amazon is. I teach 3 different eBay classes from starting with the basics to part 2, building, to having your own eBay website, we call them eBay stores. Facebook shops and marketplace. Who uses Facebook to market for small business? Anybody? So I'm gonna ask a personal question. I don't know if it's too personal, don't answer, but do you find yourself spending a lot of time posting on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, and you don't know if it ever makes you any money? That's the world most of small business owners are in because we know these things. We know Facebook is the biggest social media platform, so we post on it. It's free to do. But Facebook hides most of your posts, whether you know that or not. Now they'll tell you, they're not trying to lie to you and say they don't, so they do. But Facebook Shops is a new thing they added to Facebook about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. It allows you to put a tab on your Facebook business page where when you post stuff for sale, now they'll have a buy button so the people on Facebook can actually not just see it, but can see it buy. And if you've never used Facebook Marketplace, I don't know how many in here do pop-up stores, farmers markets, or have a brick and mortar somewhere around here. But the Facebook Marketplace is a great place to find customers. It saved hundreds of businesses that I know personally of when the pandemic hit, because it was a way to still sell things when the government said go home and don't come back for a little while. I teach how to build websites on Wix, Shopify. Wix has a tool called ADI, stands for Artificial Design Intelligence. It means they've got a little thing that'll build the website for you now. So if you're too busy, I don't have the time, and I want a website, or I don't have the skills, or think you don't, that's for you. Shopify's got another good feature I like. I don't know if anybody's ever used Shopify or not, but they've got this feature where you can link your Facebook shop, Amazon, eBay, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest to it. And whatever you do on Shopify will be duplicated on all these other channels. They call them sales channels. Now, the one thing we don't have enough of as small business owners, our most valuable commodity to me, what do you think it is? It's time. It's always time. We wear too many hats. We're everything. I call myself jokingly an army of one. I've got a wife, she's got a job. I don't expect her to come home from her job and do my job too. She'll help if I ask her, but I try to do it myself. But that means you're the procurement person, I'm taking pictures, I'm listing the stuff, I'm answering the customer service emails, I'm the shipper, then I'm the social media marketer, and I gotta live real life in there all along. That's hard to do. You guys know if you're in this, if you're getting ready to get into your own small business, be prepared to be busier than you've ever been in different ways. It's a good busy, because I've got some freedom that a lot of people don't have. I don't work for the man anywhere. I get up when I want, as long as I can get my stuff boxed up before the mailman comes. I'm good, you know, I can take vacations when I want. But Marketplace is really good. Shopify is really good for joining up with some of these other platforms. I even teach a class called Finding the Perfect Product, where I'll show you some of the secrets that I have learned in 25 years of selling online of how to source merchandise. I'll even show you how to do research to find out if your idea for product is good or bad. That's the one thing most people never think about is where can I get more products? Even if you got your own product or you make your own product, you need additional revenue streams. Typically, you don't have all your eggs in one basket. I got one product, if they don't want it, I'm out of business. That's usually really risky to do. How to find customers to sell stuff to, different ways to market, and a lot of marketing classes that are specific, LinkedIn, B2B, Pinterest, Instagram, B2C. You guys know what these things look like. I'm not trying to steal you away from Rowan Cabarrus at all, but I do keep my Google Calendar linked to my website where you can see, like tomorrow I'm teaching an Etsy class for Piedmont Community College. Next week I've got 7 classes. There's 6 classes. I work for a lot of small business centers and institutions all over the United States. I taught a class this week for a Veterans Business Outreach Center in Detroit, Michigan. So not trying to brag or anything, but I've been doing this a long time. It usually help guys with any kind of small business, e-commerce kind of related problem. So I'm going to talk to you about selling online today. Let me jump over here and try to get into the PowerPoint. Now, I want us to be able to have time for you guys to ask questions and those kind of things too, if I can. I'm checking out the sound a minute ago. So I am one of those people that likes the questions and the interactions. It's one of the things I have missed about doing seated seminars is seeing people. You know, if I could, if they let me, I'd walk over and pinch sometimes to make sure you're here. It's been a long time. I teach, 5 or 6, 7 of these a week, and there's nothing wrong with Zoom, but I'm tired of, doing that kind of thing. So it's nice to be in front of you. So ask questions if you got them in this for this class tonight if you want to, and we'll try to jump around and see what we can come up with that will work and everything for us. So we get over here. Just a couple of little stats. I don't really like stats, but quickly show you some of the things that's going on. Projections: 307 million buyers in the U.S. alone by 2023, reaching 91% of the people out there. So they're saying in a couple of years, almost over 9 out of 10 people will be buying things online. So if you're thinking about it, is it right for me? I mean, all your customers are there. It's going to be right for you. I've done it back when it was new, and there was very few people shopping online. It still worked for me even back then. Fastest growing category: food and beverages. Anybody in that? Amazon set the stage way before the pandemic. They announced one time on the news, I remember everybody laughed at them, we're going to start selling groceries online. Who's going to buy groceries online? People did, and when the pandemic hit, we didn't have nowhere else to buy them for a while. So they're the leader in that. Everybody else is playing catch up to those kind of things. Just want you to see some of this. We talk about, this is coming up, whether you want it or not, Christmas is almost here. I think it's scary. It came back quick this year, but the Black Friday through Cyber Monday weekend, last year, $8 billion in sales, the biggest year ever. 82 out of 100% out of 100%, 82% says I like shopping online. Amazon accounts for nearly half of all the retail business out there in the world. And you can see some stats here for what people are buying. If you're in any of these categories, food and beverage is the fastest growing right here. But mostly it's a clothing thing. Anybody else selling clothing in here? Do I have anybody doing that? It's a tough business. Have you been doing it long? Is it too personal to ask?
It's not the first time, so you can not have to really long.
It's a tough business, mainly because you already got a lot of competition. You got Walmart's the king of cheap clothes in the brick and mortar. Amazon's the king of cheap clothes online. If you're trying to sell cheaper clothes, it's tough. I've got a class, that what I call Finding the Perfect Product. I've got a class where I show a website that is a lot of Italian designer clothing, and you can buy it at liquidation prices. So it's one of those things most people don't know you can even do. The shoes, the Coach purses, things like that. That's real, none of it's fake, and it's all, they'll give you certificates with it, things, but buy it really, really cheap. And sometimes you'll find if I can't make it in the cheaper clothing business because it's too saturated, sometimes it's nice to know that, hey, I might want to start selling the higher end stuff. There's less of it out there, you got less competition, it works really well, but you can see some of the categories here, what people like. Black Friday, sales up 24%, Thanksgiving Day, 28%. Have you heard of Small Business Saturday? Do y'all know that day? It's been around for a good while now. I still find people that haven't heard of it, but it's record sales, $3 billion with their projections. So we're shopping online more and more. The pandemic only made it better. I ask sometimes, why do you think people shop online? Any ideas?
It's convenient.
Variety, convenience, anything else? Yeah, it's easy to shop. You don't have to drive from Walmart to Target and see which one's got the better price. Anything else?
You can look at other people's recommendations and see if there's
Reviews,
good
those kind of things. Yeah, it works great like that. Yeah, now look, you can tell I'm an old Southern boy. I live about 10 or 12 miles outside of the big city of Mount Airy, North Carolina. Otherwise known as Mayberry. Hometown of Andy Griffith Show, Google says that. That's where I have to drive there to get to a town. That's the closest town to me. It's sad when it's Mayberry. Small town America kind of stereotype. So online shopping is a big part of our business if you live in that area. Mount Airy doesn't have much. We got a Walmart. That's it. We don't have anything else. Walmart run out. Everything else. I'm not making fun of Walmart, but in the really small towns how it works. They come in, everything else eventually goes out. That's really what they want. It's not a bad business model, is it? You wish you had no competition. Common sense. You guys said it, saving time, variety, no crowds, sometimes no tax, no shipping, those kind of things will make it, enticing for us. The convenience, the variety, if you live in the suburbs of Mount Airy. My closest city is Winston-Salem, but it's about 40-45 minutes to get to Winston-Salem. So it's not like you can just drive down there when you need something. It's a trip there and back. You got to plan around it and things. So we shop online. These are some things people have told me and reasons why we're shopping and selling online more and more. Seasonal items, really good online after the season is over because if you're selling outdoor patio furniture, for example, when it gets cold here, we're not going out anymore. Don't want it. A lot of the country's still hot. Florida, Texas, Southwest, Southern California, lots of the world. Shoppers are already online. What are they doing online? Yeah, they're hanging out. They're looking at each other's pictures, telling everybody how great they do, all that kind of stuff. So they're there already. That's not going to change. So, niche markets hard to find, less overhead, more profits. Why do you think Amazon's the biggest business in the world practically now? They sell it out of these dark warehouses. They're cheap. They're just little metal boxes. They don't even have lights on inside them. You ever been to seen any of those Amazon giant warehouses? They got robots that go out and get the stuff, and it's in the dark. The robot doesn't need light. Program it where things are. They don't even have to pay for power. So it's really smart, but they got less overhead. That's why they're cheaper than everybody else. They got their stuff in places. Walmart's got a big giant superstore with 100 people working in it, a million lights and a fancy building, and it costs a lot of money. So even when Walmart's the king of brick and mortar, cheap stuff. They can't compete with Amazon online because they don't have the overhead, as long as Amazon does. Move old stock. Look at this one. Online sales improve on rainy or snowy days. Isn't that crazy? We don't think about that, but if it rains or snows, people don't leave their house. They're shopping online. Good thing about e-commerce, it's raining or snowing somewhere right now. Lots of places all around the world, right? So it always works for them. So keep that in mind as you think about these. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about the big three. Are you guys thinking or using these sites now? This is where most people's going to gravitate. Most small business owners are either going to start their own website up or they're going to go to one of these entities. Now, I'm not making fun of any of you guys that have your own website. I have very little time to talk to you. I'm always really honest, maybe a little too honest, maybe too blunt. But when you got a really short amount of time and you want to help people, you want to tell them how it really is. Question? Oh, I just want to make sure. So this is the problem with having your own website. I've got a website. I've got more than one website. This is the reality of it. You start a great looking website, and it is nice. You've got good stuff on it. What's the problem with it when you start it up? Marketing. Nobody knows you exist. That's the problem. So just think about it like that. You can have the best website in the world. Nobody knows you exist. I'm not making fun of any of you guys. Y'all look like nice people. But we're nobodies to Google. You agree? Does Google need us? We need them?
Yes.
We're on the other side of the coin. They don't know us. When you search for a blue shirt, if you guys are selling blue shirts, and that's what your website is, on mixedblueshirts.com. And somebody goes to Google and searches for blue shirt, who comes up on the first page? Amazon, Walmart, Target, Gap, Old Navy, the big box stores that have earned their way up. A lot of people searching for them. They got an algorithm that rewards you for the more you get looked for, the higher you're going to rank. So it's set against us. We've got no choice, to try some of these kind of things. So if you haven't thought of it that way, it's just the reality. I don't want you to think I'm making fun of your websites or you shouldn't try to get a website. It's good to still have a website. There's no fees or not as many fees on a website that you own. The people are, the customers are already here. Yes, ma'am.
So, I would Google, if you set your business up on Google.
Yeah.
And if you put the search words in your business.
Oh, no, I'm not saying you can't find your business. The problem is nobody knows the name of your business because you don't exist to them. If I own mixedblueshirts.com, do y'all know I exist? Y'all don't know I exist. You go to Google and look for a blue shirt. You don't look for a shirt from mixedblueshirts.com. That's the hard part of it. Yeah, I got my business where if you look for your own business, it'll show up. The problem is nobody else is looking for your own business. That's the hard part. Your family and friends know you exist. You made them buy something from you. So they bought it, they're done, they're not going to come back. That's the way it usually works for most people. We tell everybody we know on Facebook and their family and friends, our church, friends, our coworkers, they buy a little something, a few of them will, and then they're not, they've done their thing, their obligation is over. Usually you're not going to do business with them again. So the people are here. eBay advertises right now, they've got 192 million daily shoppers. I'm not making fun of any of our little town, it's bigger than mine, right here, by far. But if you had a business right over here, a brick and mortar, you'll never have 192 million people come in your doors the rest of your life. If you're open 24/7, it just won't happen. You're never going to have that many people come to you. Now, I know they're not coming to you specifically on eBay, because they're there on eBay and you have a chance at it. So it's the way to look at it. Amazon secretly, they won't even tell you how many shoppers they've got. But some leaks from board meetings and things, looks like they have around 250 to 275 million regular shoppers. So it's huge. Now Etsy's a little more of a niche market. It's still tens of millions, but it's for handmade stuff. So, you guys have a preference? Which one of these you think's best?
Depends, like, it's hard to market.
It depends on the product and all that. Yeah. So that's the thing. Yeah, if you're making your own product, I would always recommend you try it on Etsy. Now, the hard reality of Etsy is this. I'm always honest, like I said. I don't know what any of you guys make or sell or have. It's none of my business. And I don't even care. You're welcome to tell me. It's not relevant to me at all. But Etsy is one of these websites where everybody on there is making their own product. So if you're in a category that's got a lot of, people already in it, a lot of supply. There may be too much supply, not enough demand. And if your products look like everybody else's, unless you're one of the cheapest people selling it, you're never going to do any business on Etsy. It's the number one thing I get when people hire me to come and help them with Etsy is they're selling a commodity kind of product that everybody's making. I don't know what anybody's making, but I get a lot of people make their own jewelry. Well, they're all buying the stuff from Walmart or, Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something. They all got the same exact materials. Everything looks about exactly alike. And unless you're the cheapest, you're not going to sell much. So Etsy is one of those sites where I always teach people, and this is my way of saying it. If you can buy it at Walmart, don't even waste your time on Etsy. Because they'll just go to Walmart and buy it. My term is if you've got weird stuff, and I mean weird in a good way.
I would say, yeah, unique, that's what say Etsy.
Unique is a better word.
Yeah.
Her word's better than mine for sure. But I always jokingly call it weird stuff because it makes people, I try to get you to remember these things. If you got something unique or different or weird that you can't go to Walmart and buy, you'll do okay. And that's always my advice for the Etsy people is if you got ho-hum, it won't work. I've helped people on Etsy for 10 plus years, and it's always the case. I go in and see, I got a t-shirt business, and then he's had one in t-shirt of the day businesses. You know what I'm talking about. Whatever some famous person said that was stupid, or whatever some politician said it was, everybody's laughing at. They make that t-shirt and sells for a few days, and then somebody else says something stupid and goes to that. He was doing that. He says, I'm going broke. Time I get them printed, the next stupid thing has happened or funny thing, and these are dead stock. I can't give them away. And I told him, I said, no, there's two places in the world. They do this big survey in America every year, and they ask people all kinds of questions, but one of the questions I always like and find interesting is, in the buying world, what are the two things where money means no object to you? What do you guys think people in general say are the top two things where money does not matter, whether I've got it or not?
Food and water.
It's not food and water. They'll starve. It's not. That's what you think. I think that way too. I got to eat, What do you think?
Something you can't get every day, like a limited edition or something that's hard to find?
This is when I'm going to tell you both of them. This is what people say typically. Sometimes it goes, they flip-flop from one of them's first one year, one's first the next. Weddings. Money's no object on weddings. Rich people can afford big fancy weddings. Poor people can't, but we'll put it on credit cards and start out in debt because I want the big wedding. I'm not making fun of anybody that does that, thinks that way. You hope it's a once in a lifetime thing and it's working, right? The weddings, does that make sense? So if you're going to make something, is it something that can be made into something that's wedding, marketable? The other one is, we talked about this before we got started, pets. People says my pets are more important than my kids, me. I'll buy my dog his prescription medicine and do without mine if I can't afford it.
Yeah.
I don't know, who thinks that way? I'm not making fun of you if you think the way. People will tell you, my pet is important.
My dog has 3 beds in the house.
See there? Look at one. See, you got one. Now, one of the things I sell sometimes on eBay, I sell heated dog beds, these luxury dog beds, and now they make them this a form of air conditioned dog beds with cooling gel mats in them. Because people will pay big money for their dog to be happy. And they'll do without food. Poor people won't buy food for them. They'll go to the store and buy for the dogs. So I'm telling you things as small business owners or to be small business owners. Think about things where people says, hey, the money doesn't matter. I'm going to spend it. Making something on Etsy and it can be tailored for a pet. The t-shirt of the day guy, I recommended that. I said, I know you can go buy doggy white t-shirts, really cheap, small, medium, large, all different sizes. He already had the screen printing machine. I said, open your business on Etsy where you'll custom put anything onto the t-shirt. Show some examples, and he made pink leopard, tiger stripe ones and weird stuff and things, put some of the names on them and stuff. And he says, I seen him probably 6-8 months later. I said, how's it? Did you ever try it? He said, it was doing really good. It took a while, to get it built up good and everything and figure out exactly what. But he said, I can sell a dog t-shirt that's this long for $24.99 on Etsy, and I can't give away $4.99, $5.99, just trying to sell my t-shirt of the day at the cost. I can't give them away at $5, but I can sell a dog shirt for $25. So think about that. I'm not saying I'm any kind of genius at all. I gotta be smarter than I look. That's a trick. He's on, see how I like it. No, he's not. Look at this stat right here. Most popular online marketplaces. Amazon, when people go online to shop for commodity products, 56% of the people go into Amazon, 20% eBay. Walmart's at less than 11. There's Target, there's Etsy, there's Costco, there's Sam's Club. These are the biggest big box stores we have in America. Sam's, Costco, Target, Walmart, right? That's it. They just don't even compare. It's an Amazon world with eBay in second place. They got 75% or more of the market just between the two. So if you guys were thinking, is selling online right for me? You know, the numbers don't lie. So just think about it like that, okay? This is a little bit more how long people stay on. These are in minutes. Per month, the average use on Amazon is 5 hours, 7 minutes, 17 seconds. eBay second, Etsy's down here. But, you know, just think about it. These are people, that's how much they're shopping online. That's nice. That's impressive numbers. Teenagers, anybody selling to teenagers? Do I have anybody? You're going to find, if you're new to this area, it is really hard because teenagers are on their phones all day long. They're on some social media network. They started out on Facebook years and years ago. And then we as parents, I don't know how many of you got kids, but I've got 3 boys. When you see them on it for the first few times, what is it? Well, it's Facebook. What is that? And they tell you. Well, what do you do as a parent? You get you a Facebook account so you can make sure your kids safe. What does the kids do when you get the Facebook account? They go to Instagram. We see them on Instagram. That's not Facebook, you know, it's Instagram. So you get Instagram. Where do they go? Snapchat, and then TikTok, and then they're going to be at whatever comes next. I just want you to understand, if your customer is a teenager, be prepared to chase them from site to site forever.
They have a sort of attention span.
Yeah, I mean, they will go to the next new thing, that's whatever it is. And, but I just, as older folks, you know, I'm not making fun of anybody's age at all, but as adults, as older people, we're more loyal. We'll get on the site and stay with it, but the kids won't. They're going from here to there, especially when we find out where they're at, we go there too. But you can see half of them says, I go to Amazon to shop. So if you're thinking, is Amazon right for me? It may be. And you can just see projection and sales in trillions of dollars. Look at Amazon just individually. Amazon ended up last year selling $392 billion worth of stuff in a year. We're numb to the numbers. They say that we talk about deficits and all that, where numbers don't really mean anything. We don't think about how big they are. But they sell more than most of the countries combined in the world. Just Amazon. One company outsells everything, most of the countries. If you added their whole country sales up, Amazon will sell more than most of the countries in the world. So it's a big, big, big website. We just think it's where we go to buy whatever, you know, our little bit of stuff we do. But it is where everybody shops, and it's a huge place to sell. It's the biggest e-commerce platform in the world. So #1, huge sales. I don't want to bore you with stuff, but you can see that this is from last year. It ended up being 392, but this is when that stat come out. But look, this is way back from 2004. Look at the sales, look at the steps, how tall they're getting, how much distance is between them each year now. It's not a fluke, it's not a fad, they're not going to go away. People's not going to quit shopping on Amazon. If you're trying to figure out where I might want to sell, it might be a good spot for you. The numbers don't lie. I'm a big North Carolina Tar Heel basketball fan. And they had a player, Rasheed Wallace. One time they lost a game, and at one point they interviewed him after the game. He said, "Ball don't lie. The numbers don't lie. It is what it is. That's where people are shopping." What happened in 2008 and 9? Anybody remember those years? That was when the housing market, the banks went broke, all the car companies went broke. We bailed everybody out. Amazon grew through that. You know, and everybody else shut down. Amazon kept growing. So some things don't affect anything. The pandemic made them even bigger than they were. How do you know, who would have thought they would have gotten that much bigger during a pandemic, but they definitely did. And this is the percentage of sales on Amazon that is by third-party sellers. That's what they call us. We're the third party. Customer and Amazon's part of the first and second part. We're the third. Over half of everything that's selling on Amazon right now is by us. And look at this. In 2019, 3/4 of the 53% were businesses that have between just 1 and 5 employees. So it's not the big box stores. They're on Amazon selling because they recruit them. Amazon recruits them. And they want Nike and, the big names, Gap and Old Navy, those kind of things. They're on there. But really, most of the sales are us. So if you're thinking, Amazon's too big, a little guy can't make it, we can't. It's for us. They'll let us sell on there. It's amazing that the biggest store in the world will let you sell your stuff on it, right? I don't know if you got a Walmart or how many of you got in this town, but it'd be like you going into your local Walmart and they give you a shelf and say, that's your shelf in our store. Would you take it? Yeah, you'll be, me too.
Yeah.
Think about it. That's what they're letting you do. Amazon will even let you list stuff for free if you're not selling in the handmade category. If you're making your own products and they force you into their handmade category, you have to buy their monthly plan. We'll see it in a minute. Yes, ma'am.
Question for you, what about the Amazon affiliate program?
The affiliate program, what specifically about it? Is there any, they have one.
They have one, so I was thinking of as far as like, you can pick the different items that you can, is that a way for entrepreneurs to score for the entrepreneurs?
Yeah, you can. Yep, that will work. That will.
More about the handmade food.
The handmade category on Amazon, so they started it in 2016, October of 2016, they started it to compete with Etsy. Etsy getting really big, it's the hot topic in the e-commerce world, everybody's talking Etsy, everybody's starting to make and sell, we're going into this phase where, we got all these young people, I call them new hippies, that, making everything. I'm old enough to remember, I was a kid and I can remember hippies. I had an aunt that was a hippie, I thought she was the coolest person.
Yeah.
She had the jacket, patches. Yeah, she was it to me. I liked her. I thought she was neat. And I'm making fun of them, but they don't know that they're not aware. They know there was hippies back in the day, but it's not like they've seen them and they're copying them. They're doing their own thing, but I call them new hippies. Yeah, they call them all them fancy things. Logo sounds good, but new hippies to me. I probably shouldn't call them that. Some of them identify as hippies and say. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not making fun of people that fall into that category, but they're new, they're the ones that's shaping everything right now in the e-commerce world.
Yeah.
They made Etsy, they're the ones that are making, some of them are getting rich on Etsy. And Amazon started handmade in 2016. For the first 2 years, they let you sell on it for free. No fees at all, you can sell on it for free. And now they make you pay. It's $39.99 a month for their professional selling plan. It's not much, it's not that bad. But you have to apply to sell on Amazon handmade. That's the difference in it. Etsy will just let you sell. If it's money, we want it. If you make it good, if you don't, it didn't hurt us. And Amazon sort of picking who they want. But if you'll tell them you're selling on Etsy or eBay, they'll usually let you right in because they want to steal you away. It didn't work as good as they thought. I'll just be honest with you. Their handmade category is not doing nearly the business they ever thought it would. I would still try Etsy first, even though that is Amazon. The handmade part of Amazon is not what Etsy is. They thought because they were Amazon, Etsy just, Amazon's in our business, let's just close up on it. It didn't work that way. They were already established, just like eBay. eBay is the granddaddy of all e-commerce. They started in 1995. It was 10 or 12 years later before Etsy and Amazon started up. So, Amazon was a brick and mortar bookstore when eBay started. And, you got to think about it. We think these places have always been around. So I don't want to tell you not to try handmade, but it'll cost you a little bit more. And they do not have the shopping customers that Etsy does. Yes.
I know Amazon and Etsy, but don't tell me on eBay as a consumer. So even if you have a shop on eBay, you still have to do the bidding part of it.
No, eBay started out as a bid-only website. It was brand new. There's nothing else to go by. So the only thing that anybody really knew about e-commerce was like physical auctions where you go bid on stuff. So Etsy opened up in that capacity. But as the years went by and people started selling new products instead of old used stuff or antique stuff like me, they graduated over to what they call the buy now price, which they also call the fixed price. It means the same thing, whichever language you see on eBay. It just means, it's got a price tag. It's like going to Walmart, it's $10. You can't pay 11, you can't pay 9, you buy it for 10, or you go home without it. eBay now is mostly that. Everything I sell on eBay is a buy it now. I do buy it now with best offer. If I want $200 for something, I might put it on there for $225, maybe an offer. Somebody will offer me $200 for it. That's what I wanted. They think they got a bargain. They think they won. I know I won. That's the perfect deal. I always use it. Selling is always psychological. You guys agree? Any people, salespeople in here, like, you've done that? If you're a good salesperson, I can talk to anybody in this room to buy almost anything. A better salesperson knows when not to do that. Leads you to somewhere that lets you decide to buy it. Because if you're a good salesperson, you want them to come back. If you talk somebody into buying something, you pressure them into it, they get home and they realize, I didn't really need that. I'm never going back to that place again because you'll pressure me into buying something else.
And with a small business, it's a lot easier to give something away to something really small.
Yep.
I know that's helped me, my customers have been like, we're so thankful for this one little tiny.
You'll
thing."
spend some little,
It was
almost
like it
nothing.
was a brunch. It was a
Yeah,
little
I
tiny,
mean,
like-
it can be something that's really cheap. It'll make it, you'll get a repeat, a loyal customer, they'll like you, they'll remember you.
That was my whole job. I worked for Adam and Eve up until middle of September, 13 years. But I was the buyer and I did the incentive purchases, so I worked with China, got the, I don't say the little cheap things, they were very frugal and nice, but that was the whole thing, so.
My Finding the Perfect Product class, I show people how to use Alibaba.com.
Yeah.
And it's a Chinese website, but the whole world sells on there. Like you can sell on Alibaba.com if you want to. It's just you can't compete with the rest of the world's labor, so you'll never last long.
You need China.
Well,
The rest of the world.
I mean, India is the new China now.
Yeah.
India is much cheaper than China.
Yeah.
China's been around so long now that they've been forced to pay people more. They've just screened for it and they're paying them more. And there's a lot of rich people in China now, and India is the new China. It's now the place where they pay you nothing and you work 14 hours a day for, less than $1 a day sometimes. It's not right.
No.
We can't do anything about it. But if people say don't buy from them, but I buy things from China and India all the time. The clothing now that comes, it's not, all of it's not made in China anymore, Malaysia, Vietnam. There's some, some other places that are much cheaper to get clothing. If you're going to do private label clothing, that's some really good places to go. They pay nothing, you can get it really cheap. It's where we go to get those things. I am a buy American person. I think that way. I like that kind of thing. But I feed my family selling online, and I've got to buy things where I can make money on it and feed my family. So if I can buy American, I will, but usually I can't because we pay too much.
And most of our suppliers, we're still getting.
They're getting it all
their
from China.
bottles, China.
I try to tell them.
Or in the States, they're getting their bottles or.
There is no middleman.
Yeah.
There's middlemen. And I know I shouldn't even say that term anymore. We live in this politically correct world. There's middle people, there's a middle person, now there's middle, the middle people.
I didn't want to blame it for it, so you're fine.
We've caused most of the problems in the world, if you want to know the truth. I've got a great
I'm
life,
just kidding.
and
I'm not.
well, I couldn't imagine life without a woman trying to keep me going in some direction. So you guys know if you've got husbands, we need lots of help. We're pitiful, it's the way it is. But, there's middle men, middle people. There's 4 or 5 people before it gets from China to you. You think it just comes directly over the everybody marks it up, it's way higher. I help businesses all the time. I show them, you just go here and buy that thing for $1 instead of just $12.50 from your supplier. Well, that's where it comes from to start with, just like you said.
Because even your supplier has suppliers. So I didn't realize that until y'all know how the chips, shortened out last year?
Yeah,
Well, I thought it was just our supplier, and in our email conversation, she was like, oh, our chip supplier is running low, so then I realized, oh, this is. like
and then they got
a-
suppliers that help them get the stuff to do the chip and make it. It's always the chain. Share online consumers in the U.S. who are Amazon Prime members by household income. Not making fun of anybody for what they make or don't make, I could care less. But I want you to understand, if you're thinking about Amazon, I call these the rich people. To me, these are rich. You make over $150,000. 63% of them have Amazon Prime. We expect it. Middle class, over half. Down here's the one I like, the lower income people make less than $35,000 a year, that's as a family. So that's if you got one person or two people working, it's the total. A third of those people practically says it's worth the $120 to buy Amazon Prime. I'm gonna make that up in free shipping, Amazon Prime items. People think that way. Now look, this is a website where low, middle, rich are all in one place at the same time. You will not find a lot of places like that out there in the world. A lot of rich people are not in Walmart, right? A lot of regular people, poor people, we're not over at Saks on Fifth Avenue or Gucci buying a $1,500 t-shirt, are we? We can't.
We can't, shoot.
Yeah, if I could, I would. I just want you to think about, Amazon is a place where everybody likes it. They find value in it, from the wealthy to the middle to the low end. That's where you want to sell stuff, guys. So price, low shipping costs, which means free shipping, the ability to review stuff. Somebody said that earlier. That's the reason they're shopping there. I've got just a little YouTube video I want to show you really quickly. I think I've got the sound. I hope it's not too loud. This is of a real person selling, running a small business on Amazon. I like to show you real people instead of just me telling you the great.
Things that I thought would make my life easier and their life easier. I live in Salt Lake and it's really cold. And my youngest, he just kept throwing his socks off everywhere he went. And he get really cold feet. And I just thought, there's gotta be another way for this. So I got a pair of thermal pants and sewed some socks on them, put them underneath his clothes, and voila, didn't take his socks off anymore. And after I started selling that, I decided, I had some other ideas. I have one product called the Tot Tube, and it's a toy ramp, and you can roll cars and balls down it. And the reason I launched it is because my son's speech therapist was always looking for new toys to help the kids get excited about learning. Everything I create, I kind of see a need for in my own home or in my own life, and then I try to share it with others. My name is Christine Crow, the owner of Mama Boutique, and I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. I began selling on Amazon about mid-2011. Amazon brought millions of customers right to my products. They type in what they're looking for, baby clothes, laundry products, and there I am. And I went from a couple sales a week to, hundreds of sales a day. It's been really great in terms of work-life balance and flexibility for me. I do my children's carpools, I take them to the piano lessons, I can be home when they're sick. The biggest thing that I think pulls people to buy your product are the reviews and word of mouth. So you want it to be something people want to review. They want to get on there and give you 5 stars and talk about it. So I would say, develop something that you're excited about and that other people would be excited about, and just do it, bring it out there.
So I like to show you real people. It's easy for me to stand here in front of you and tell you how great it is and all. And I know that's sort of fluffy and you expect that, the success story kind of thing. But I want you to hear from just regular people. This is their 2 different plans. Professional plan, if you're in the handmade category, it's $40 a month. Most of their commissions are 15%, but they do have add-on fees. I will tell you this right up front. Amazon's the biggest e-commerce platform in the world, but they're the most expensive to sell. If any of you guys are doing it, they charge more than anybody else. Now they've got if you're selling over here in the individual plan, you don't have to pay the monthly fee, but you pay an extra $1 every time you sell an item that you don't pay over here. And you still pay the 15%. If you're selling in a media category, there's an extra $1.35. That's because that's Amazon's world. Books, DVDs, that's what made them Amazon. They don't want any competition. So if you're going to sell what we sell, we're going to charge you an extra fee. I get it. I would do the same. You guys would do the same. Just hurts us if that's our products. So it can be 20, 25% to sell on Amazon. They also have a feature called FBA. Has anybody ever heard of this? Fulfillment by Amazon is what it stands for. They will call it FBA just to shorten it up. This means I can send them to an Amazon warehouse all my inventory. When they get it, the robot will put it in a space that they predetermine, and they'll tell you, hey, Nick, we got the inventory ready to go, list it. When it lists and sells, they do the shipping. The robot goes and gets it. Sometimes the robot boxes it now. That's why you ever got that Amazon box where it's got something this big in it, but the box is this long, the robot does that. People, we hope we're smarter than that. But they box it up, they provide the box. The item is eligible for Amazon Prime. So if you want to be one of those Prime sellers, you have to be FBA. They will let you do your own selling without sending it to them, after a few years of you selling on your own and proving that you always ship really fast, I've only known 2 people that ever got FDA approved to do it from their home or from their business. So it's really hard to do, because Amazon is all about free shipping, fast shipping, cheap prices, and they don't trust us to do what we say on our own. They're wise enough to know we won't always do it. We'll have an excuse. So,
How do you make a profit on Amazon if they're taking 25%? And then when you list something like the wool dryer balls, and then Amazon underneath it says, here's another item that's similar to that for $2 cheaper with Prime shipping.
Amazon has, you guys know, you've all shopped on Amazon. On the, if I turn this way, on the right-hand side, they call that the buy box. That's their official name for it. There's the price of and the buy button for the one you're looking at, and there's 3 other ones. They always show 4 total. And it'll be competition, and if it's cheaper, you lose them. They might be on your page, get ready to hit your button, well, there's one for $2 cheap, I'm gonna buy it. The answer to your question is, and this is my funny answer, let me teach you that finding the perfect product class, and I'll show you how to buy stuff.
Like, Amazon trying to stab you in the back while trying to take the money out of the back.
But Etsy and them, they all do the same thing. Etsy has like a.
Oh, do they?
it's like
Yep, eBay does the
30%.
same thing,
Oh.
everybody's gonna do it.
Etsy is like 30% if you want to sell on there, plus I have to pay like $10 a month to be a part of it.
Etsy has 2 different
I have to pay. for
promotion
that.
programs.
It's nice,
One,
but
that's, if you want to be part of that Google shopping ad thing, they do 15% commission for it. And they've got another one that's just a pay-per-click, or most of the categories are 5 to 10 cents per click. I don't know if you're familiar with pay-per-click, what I'm talking about. It's where they show your item in a promoted spot. If somebody clicks on it, whether they buy it or not, you still get charged a nickel or 10 cents. You can set up your own budget, so it's only $10 or $100. You got control over it, but it still costs.
It almost seems like you'd have to add that percentage back in just so you can make a profit out of
You
that.
do.
Technically, you can't, because then there's.
Am I competitive?
Right.
Yep, you gotta know where to buy stuff.
So also, just as a little thing to tell you guys what I do, since I make handmade products, I actually list on my Etsy that I have my own website. And if they're comfortable with coming to my website, then it'll be like $40 cheaper.
Sometimes Etsy will let you do that, eBay and Amazon. Sometimes if they find you doing that, they will kick you off.
Yeah,
Etsy.
They give you one place on it. Etsy used to give you one place to put it on your Etsy shop homepage. You could put a link to your website. eBay gives you one spot. It's hidden too. They sort of hide it a little on purpose. That way it looks like they're working with
I haven't
you.
gotten in trouble yet.
Yeah, I hope you don't. I don't want to jinx you at all. Knock on wood, yeah, I'm a knock on wood.
I'm too niche too.
But most of them are, you know, and the key is, can I buy stuff cheap enough to be competitive? Honestly, no matter what you guys do, even if she's making her own product, if she can go to the right place, she'll get the materials much, much cheaper. And she'll be one of the cheapest people selling it, and she will own Etsy. It'll work for her. If she's going to Michael's or Hobby Lobby and buying her materials, she's buying it through the middle people, markup 4 or 5 times, and she's paying retail for it. And now I can't sell it cheap. Why am I so much higher? Why have I got to be higher than anybody else?
Mine's more artistic, so I don't, it's not.
Art
based
gets
on-
into its own thing. Art is subjective.
It's not.
I
based
love
on-
her art or I hate her art.
Yeah.
And if I love her art, I'll buy her art. There is no price category
Well,
for
it's this. I make purses.
Oh, I like it.
But so
It's
it's
neat.
like, so there's not like a specific price, like if you're selling t-shirts, you have to be a price person.
Well, look, you can't go to
My
Walmart and
purses
buy that
aren't-
either.
yeah.
You know, I like that. That's the kind of things you want to sell if you're making your own stuff.
Right.
Now, she just makes a little Vera Bradley look-alike or a little Paisley print on a pocketbook. They're not going to buy it. There's a million people doing it. You know, everybody knows who Vera Bradley is. My wife owns some of their stock, or should.
So I was gonna say too, for Amazon, the gift at least is the quality, because sometimes the quality sucks, and it could be the same product. So the review will say, this sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you do this, almost the same exact thing, but your supplier makes it better, even just like one step up, and your reviews say, this is way better than those other ones, people will flock to that.
I want to tell you about Amazon. I teach just an Amazon class. So I'll show you how to register, become a seller, sell items, ship items. But the main part of the class, and I do it on eBay and Etsy and Amazon, is how to understand their search engine algorithm. What makes them determine who's going to be on the first page and who's on the second, who's on the last, and who's in the middle. So those are the kind of things that you guys need to know. Can't do it in one class here. This is like I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of these choices, and then you'll at least have some knowledge. But Amazon's algorithm, one of their most important factors, and you know, we all know it, it's price. They value price over quality. You can have a really good product and it'll rank lower than somebody selling something similar that's everybody saying this is horrible. Never buy this thing, don't buy it. They'll still rank it first. I'll give an example in my class if that happened, where it's an okay product. There's other products that rank much higher, sell better too, cost more money, but Amazon's algorithm still shows this kind of product first. Why? I don't understand it, but I don't have to, and I don't have to agree with Amazon. They don't care what I think. Their algorithm does what they want it to do.
Can you pay for ads on Amazon?
You can. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend, I think they work much better on, I think the pay-per-click works much better on Etsy than Amazon or eBay. The promotion on Etsy is really good for most people, especially if you're new and you're going to do Etsy, you make your own product, you're at the bottom. You know, all these websites that we're going to talk about are what have you done for me lately kind of places, right? If you're new, you've done nothing for them. That means you haven't made them any money. So they don't show me on their search algorithm. Whatever it is I'm selling, I'm on the last page, not on the first. And you guys know, Google tell you this, on the Google search, over 99% of people that search for something on Google that's a commodity product, they buy it off the first page. They never go to page 2. There might be 1,000 pages of results. They don't even go to page 2. This is what they do on Google. If it's not on page 1, we change our search words. I must have typed it in wrong. I'm going to search a different way and look again. Do y'all do that? Is that most people say, yeah, probably. I do that sometimes. If I don't see it right off the bat, I think I'm going to search a different way. So I just want you to think that way, okay? All right, let me get over here for something else really quick. Talk about eBay. eBay's been around longer than anybody else. It's a really good site. Sales go up every year. I've got a little eBay video here that I want to pull up too, just like with the Amazon. Give them some fair play and let you hear a little bit about eBay. They have eBay stores, which are websites inside of eBay. I've got them. I've got 3 different eBay accounts that I sell on. I'll pull up one and show you one if you need me to show you one. And you can see, you know, what it does, what it looks like and stuff. But they got eBay stores. They start at $4.95 a month. It is a website. You've got your own website, and it's inside of eBay. Now, I've got a higher level store. It's called a basic store, and it's $21.95 a month. Still cheap. eBay's 10% commission, and PayPal is 2.9. So you're going to pay 13% commission. Amazon's going to be 20-25 for most people in reality. Unless it's a super expensive item, the commission will be 17, something like that. But they'll be the most expensive. Amazon says we're the most expensive because we're the best. We might charge more, but we got more customers and we're going to do more volume of sales for you, which is probably true a lot of times. You'll make less per item, but I'm going to sell 10 times more of it than I will somewhere else. So overall, I end up making more money. So I'm going to show you a little bit about eBay. This is on their website where you can see some of the store information. Video. I usually got a little video link here that I can pull up to show you. All right, I've got to get serious glasses. They either moved it or it's not there today. Every now and then it keeps pulling out. Yeah, I don't see it. Sometimes they pull it down or move it or put a new one up and it's in between. But this will talk about the stores and so forth. The basic store right here that I have, it's $21.95. Now you can get a store that is cheaper for $4.95. But this one's pretty good. It lets you list 1,000 fixed price items a month, 250 auctions. If you want to do that, but most people don't anymore. They're really good. They're lower fees. Lots of customers, still big customer bases on eBay, so you don't have to, think, hey, it's not like having your own website where there's nothing going on. Let me pull up one of mine and show you one. I think I had one pulled up before I got it.
Does it also list the demographics of the customers, like how you have that?
You can get analytics. They got all kind of reports that tell you when you're selling the most, and all that kind of stuff. That's interesting sometimes to people. Now I sell all kind of things. Like I told you, cold water sinks and faucets. I've got different eBay accounts. but I've got one pulled up that's for my antique business. And this is it. Is my name okay or not? Good or bad? Too corny? What do you think? This is an account that's been in operation since 1997. And this is an eBay store. You know, here's the manage my store button. And this is like a little header at the top. Here's a featured items box. And here's stuff that is for sale. So you can see things. It's antiques of all kinds. I sell, this is my philosophy. I like selling in the antique business. When you have a physical store, you're selling furniture, obviously big items, or you're selling what we call smalls. Smalls is stuff people can put in the bag, throw in the back seat. In Mount Airy, we have tourists, it's Mayberry. We don't have enough of them, but you know, we get some and they want something they can take home. So they're gonna buy something from you. And it's gotta be small enough to fit in the trunk or the back seat or something like that. So I learned early on, once I got into e-commerce, it costs too much to sell big stuff. The freight's outrageous to ship a piece of furniture. So it negates you can sell something at a good price, but once they add shipping to it, they can't afford it anymore. So I, a couple decades ago, graduated over to high-end smalls. I told you before we got started, when cookie jars were hot, I sold a cookie jar on eBay for $4,600. I started it was back when they only had auctions. I started it at $9.99. No protection, no reserve. Yeah, just a little, pottery cookie jar. It was one made in the 60s, collectible. They got really hot. I was selling lots of them for $1,000, $1,500. I paid $1,000 from it. A lady in Mount Airy bought it from a local 5 and dime store. Still had their grease pencil price on the bottom of it. And she had kept it like a treasure. She bought it when she was a kid. She knew it was good. I paid her $1,000 for it. Put it on eBay at $9.99 in an auction. Put it on one evening. Next morning I woke up, it was already $1,800. I thought, okay, it's going to go good. I'm making money. But at the end of it, about $4,600. So this is what the internet will do for you. It will find you customers that you'll never find on your own. I like her little pocketbook. It's neat. She could have a store right here, and a lot of the people in this area is going to buy them. But she's going to run out of customers, and who knows about her in the next town over. It's hard, people are going to drive. The internet, the world's buying from it. I ship things to 2 different countries this week already from eBay. France and England. Somebody from France. I got 2 or 3 people buying from France all the time from me. So these are little bitty wooden boxes. They're small. They're like this big. I can put them in the free priority mail boxes that the post office will give you. You guys know about this if you're going to do e-commerce, but if you don't, the post office has, today they have 71 free boxes or items that they give you. You just go to USPS.com and pull it up if you need it, but you guys will see it. And go to their free shipping supplies, and they got boxes of all shapes and sizes. You have to use priority mail with them, which is good. It's usually cheaper than slow mail. Don't ask me why. This is the government. I'm not making fun of the government, but they're hard, right? To ship it snail mail, it's $8. To ship it priority mail, it's $7.50. I don't understand, but it's like Amazon and their algorithm. I don't have to understand it. I just got to know how it works to go and do. Let me see. I've got one of my pages where you can get your analytics and things like that. I want to go in here, pull up some stuff on sale.
Would you say that are you on an Amazon seller as well, or just eBay?
I'm Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Facebook shops, I have a website.
So
You've got to have multiple sales channels.
where do you feel you get the most traffic?
eBay is my biggest seller by far. I
Is it
sell more
because
on
of your
eBay than
items
anyone.
being
Excuse me?
niche? Your items being niche? Or?
Well, some of the antique things are. They're I'm trying
I
to get up
think
here.
more
My-
people aren't gonna be going on Amazon to find antique things,
Yeah.
used things, so
Yeah.
some new things too, I think.
So here's some stuff, like this morning I woke up and I sold this little sign. It's 6 inches by 4 inches, so it's this big. It goes in a flat rate envelope. That's $7. It's $115. And I woke up to this thing sold. It was $135. It's 12 inches. Here's one that sold for $180, $113. There's a little wooden bucket, $100. More little small signs, 126, 123, 85, 112, 163. There's a little wooden box for $60. More signs. There's a wooden box for $325. Yeah, there's a big sign. I don't sell a lot of big stuff, but I can buy these for about $100, and I sell them for $550 to $600. So I'll deal with it, you know.
You set your price or you deal with it?
So everything out here will tell you, well, everything is fixed price with a make me an offer option. I told you my philosophy. I want people to haggle me down. They think they got something over on me. They're happy. I talked that old fella down some. I got it cheaper than he wanted. He's probably not happy, and I've got a price where when I come down, sometimes they offer me more than I wanted for it. Or at least it's what I want.
Can you
I
go
need
back
to
to
get-
them and say, we take $10 more than what you offered?
Yeah, now if you get an offer on eBay, you got three choices. You set it up to make me an offer. That's what they call it. So best offer is what they officially call it. So if you list something for 500 and I want to get 4, somebody can offer me 450 for it. I can accept it, I can decline it, or I can make a counter offer. The problem is if you make a counter offer, they're out of any obligation. You can't go back and say, I'll take what you offer first. It's over with. So the counter offer is risky if you're, and you got to remember this now. Handmade stuff, eBay was the first place you could sell that stuff. There was no Etsy for a dozen years. It was only eBay where people that made good stuff were selling it. It still sells really good on eBay. People just don't think about it, We go to Etsy instead because it's got we know that's what it is. But it's still not the only place. If I was going to sell handmade stuff, I'd sell it on Etsy first try and eBay for sure. Amazon would probably be one of my last choices, honestly. So that's just me. I'm not trying to brag about what I sell, but you can see everything. This is just in the last 30 days or something. It's thousands of dollars for stuff.
What's the difference between the price and the what?
This is with shipping or taxes added to it, and this is what it actually sold for. So most of the time I'm doing free shipping, but then sometimes they're paying, some items I make them pay shipping, they buy it and they ship it. But you guys know this, I already said it a couple of times, Amazon has trained us to expect free shipping.
So
You
just add
build
it
it
to your
in.
price?
You build it in.
So that's free shipping.
Now, the problem with it is, this young man over here doesn't get them. How are you gonna sell them dryer balls on Amazon and make any money? The reality is, it's hard to sell cheap stuff and make any money anyway. And you work yourself to death selling $10, $20 stuff. If that's gonna be your business model, good. Just get ready to know I've gotta work harder than Nick does. He's selling $100 items. So one of his is $100. And I'm selling $10 items. I gotta sell 10 to match him. I've gotta ship 10 times. I got 10 times more expense in shipping, potentially. You got 10 times more time, and people will buy. I've always found, and I found it out when I had brick and mortar, but the $50 to $200 range, people buy stuff in that range. You start getting into $300, $400, $500, then it starts getting a little bit more, you gotta wait them out. The right person will buy it, but it's not gonna be boom, 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 boom. But the $100 stuff, $50, they'll buy that really regular. We got that. We got that disposable income for that. I don't know if you guys believe me or not. You don't have to, but I live in this world. I feed my family selling online. If I'm not selling, we gonna go hungry. So you learn how to sell or you go back to work for somebody. That's your choices. You work hard working for yourself, running your own small business, but man, it sure is fun. It sure is rewarding. Your hard work benefits you and not somebody that's sitting in a corporate office somewhere in another state or country or something. I'm not making fun of people that work for somebody. I did it plenty of times. I've had hard labor jobs. I was a machinist for many years. I helped run a big corporation, started as a maintenance man and moved to the second person in command or in charge of this big company. I found all I was doing when I got to the top, I babysat. Y'all can't get along. That's all it is. I put all y'all in one building, and he don't like her, and she said something about what she's wearing. It's just one of them big messes, I'm not saying it's you guys, but that's just people.
That's why I got out of corporate.
I couldn't take it. It just wasn't for me. Made good money. I was miserable, I had a good office, had a bathroom in my office, had a fancy setup. I liked it. had a refrigerator and all whatever you ask for, they do, but the job was just miserable. I hated going to
You
it.
had to probably live there too.
Yeah, use the air, they give you that comp time. Anybody ever heard of the comp
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Y'all know what that is?
Work for free.
That means you're working for free. She knows what it is. Yeah.
I was a teacher.
Yeah,
Work
well,
for
my wife is a guidance counselor at a middle school. They call it swap time in her school. That means you swap out your free labor and they like it, that's the way it works. But yeah, how cheap can I get stuff is always gonna be the thing. I know we're not talking about finding the perfect product and showing you guys how to source it, but it is the next logical thing that a lot of you guys will need to know is, even her making her stuff, if she could go somewhere where she can get it way, way, way cheaper, she just makes more profit. She can keep her price the same, or she can lower her price and, still make more money overall.
Have we found that the wedding industry took a big hit because a lot of people got married on Zoom?
It was one of the things when the pandemic shut it down.
But a lot of people are now having their actual weddings, so they got married, but a lot of people are, because I've had a few family members that actually went and now had a family thing.
A lot of people are calling it your first anniversary wedding.
Yeah.
A year later, they're now getting married and having the reception and getting the gifts that they missed out on and all the things,
Yes, you said you mailed something to England and France. I know certain countries. How do you protect yourself from fraud, especially with that?
So it's a good question.
It's because I used to have another e-commerce business and I did have some fraud and it was
Yep.
hard to, because especially when it comes to credit cards.
Yep.
A lot of times they'll just do the chargeback and you get the money, and plus they get the stuff. It doesn't matter how much you do your due diligence.
It's
Making
tough.
sure that's a real customer.
Still always gonna have that chance of that, but if you're selling on eBay, Amazon, Etsy, eBay is really good. eBay owns PayPal. Everybody's heard of PayPal, but they own it. Some of you guys might not know that, but they bought it in 2004 and they still own it today. It's its own company and its own stock. They spun it off several years ago, but it's got a buyer protection plan for the buyers, but it also has seller protection. But it will guarantee you as a seller that if somebody had bought that with stolen credit card or something, that you won't lose the money, they will. They've got insurance that covers that kind of thing. But when you're selling internationally, eBay several years ago, I never did international shipping because it's too risky.
Tariffs too, because certain countries have tariffs and stuff like that.
It got way too expensive, way too risky. I'm not making fun of any other countries. I don't know where you guys are from, don't care. But I'm not going to mention any countries by name, but there are countries out there that have a reputation for when it comes into their, what we call customs, whatever they call their version of customs. If they like it, when it says US on it, we're the land of plenty, guys. We might take it for granted and complain and gripe a whole lot, but we got more than most of the rest of the world's got. We got it good. I hope you guys feel that way. I do. But if they see us from America, the land of plenty, them custom agents will open it up. And if it's a shiny blue jacket, that dude's wearing it to work tomorrow, it's gone. What do? I've got to give that person their money back or send them another shiny jacket. And hope he's not working when it comes to customs, but now he's got 2 jackets. That happens. It's funny, but it's real.
So if you ship with USPS, I love USPS, it's quick, they're easy.
It's what I
The
use
other
most
ones
of the
are so much more expensive, but if your customer, and I'm just saying this just out of experience, if your customer says, I didn't receive my package, don't just say, okay, well, let me ship you another one or whatever. Say, I will do a complaint, I'll put a ticket in with the USPS, they'll do their research, and when we find out, I'll use what the insurance money that I did, I'll get that back and I'll send it to you. And most of the times, the person will either just ghost you or they'll say, oh, never mind, it came yesterday. Because when you say that, it's a federal offense if they say that they didn't receive their package and they did.
Don't give in.
Yeah.
eBay bought this company many years ago and they renamed it the Global Shipping Program.
Yeah.
It's in 3 parts of America. On the East Coast, I send things that go out of country to a little town called Erlanger, Kentucky. That's where it'll go. This program is great, at least for my end. It's not so good if you're on the other end of it, but they'll buy it. Because we are the land of plenty. Sometimes we got stuff in America that other countries can't get. They don't have it. They won't let them have it, whatever. Like China's notorious for not letting them have a lot of American stuff because they don't want them to get more Americanized. That's the downfall of their country, they're afraid. May be true, but it's none of my business one way or the other. But I do international shipping once they bought this company because They take care of all the customs paperwork, any duties, taxes, anything extra, and they give you a tracking number all the way to the person's door. If you're shipping post office, she knows this. Once it lands in whatever country it's going to, well, our post office is not in that country, so that tracking number stops at the landing. It's either at a port or at an airport, one or the other. That's the end of the tracking number for most of the things, post office for sure. But this global shipping program, they've got to deal where the tracking number follows it all the way to the person's house. They even email you and notify you. Like they'll notify you, it left the global shipping program, it's on its way to the customer. It got there, customers got it. Peace of
And
mind.
Amazon takes pictures of their packages.
Yep, Amazon does pretty good. Etsy's not as good. They're always lagging behind. Etsy's just started making money in the last couple of years. They're 10 or 12 years old and they've lost money every year. They make profit, but they've reinvested back into the company. They went public many years ago, so they're stockholders for Etsy and they're screaming for money. I want the stock to go up. You said it was going to do all these things. It never did. So they finally have started saving some of the profits so they can do a little bit of, the stockholders see a little dividend every now and then and stuff. But they do that at the cost of upgrading because they don't sell the stuff like Amazon and eBay does. They're doing $100 million in sales. Amazon will do, 290 billion in sales or something. I think Etsy actually does about 5 billion in sales a year. Last time I seen, that's a lot of money. But Amazon doing 290, that's a drop in the bucket.
Etsy also doesn't sell anything.
Well, and eBay doesn't either.
So-
Half of everything sold on Amazon is theirs. Yeah, eBay doesn't sell their own products. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for you. I don't know, if I purchase stuff from a different country, it comes in DHL, but then DHL, drop ships it through the postal service.
Yeah.
Does the postal service have that process going out?
No. Yeah. So now, most of the shippers, half the things that are shipped UPS now are delivered by the post office, if you've noticed. I don't understand, it doesn't make any sense to me, but that's the way the shipping world is. Here's some of the eBay things up there that I mentioned to you earlier. You guys, if you want to try eBay, they will let you list, and now you can list 200 items a month for free. They don't charge you anything to put stuff on eBay. You only pay the fees after it sells. So no excuses for nobody in the room saying I can't afford to start a business. Now, you still gotta have products, but you start out cleaning out your closet, your garage or your basement or whatever, of junk you wanna get rid of, keep all the profit and use it to buy real inventory.
Don't they withdraw all the fees now before they deposit it in your account?
Do what now?
Doesn't anybody withdraw all your fees now prior to paying you?
I like it. It took me a while to get used to it. But it's cheaper too. Their new payment system, it's not much difference, but it's like, for me, I'm not bragging, but I sell a lot. So the more you sell, the cheaper the rates are.
Okay.
And if you have an eBay store, they charge you 10% less on your fees for having a store. They also give you $100 worth a year of free eBay branded shipping supplies. eBay boxes, eBay tape, eBay stickers, all that kind of junk. So stuff you might have to buy. What I do is I get all the boxes that I can from the post office, but the sizes they don't give for free, I use my free eBay boxes for those sizes that the post office doesn't give me, and I never have to buy boxes. You guys may not think that's, a big deal, but that's your profit. Anytime you can get free boxes, free, they got free bubble wrap envelopes. I put all my stuff, I get the free bubble wrap envelopes from the post office, and everything is breakable. I put it in those. I've got free bubble wrap, and I put it in a priority mail box and mail it. And it's just one less thing I gotta buy. It works really, really good.
You said the global shipper program is through who?
It's through eBay. They own this company. So the customer pays the extra money. You opt into it, it tells the customer before they buy, Nick will sell it to you in your country, but there is this additional fee. And it's high. I seen one of them the other day, and it's like $30 extra or something the person pays. I sold one of them little bitty signs to somebody in France for $110, and they paid like $144 for it. I don't care. I got what I wanted. I got $15 in the thing, and I'm selling it for 110. I'm making a little bit of profit margin in there. And I send it to Erlanger, Kentucky, and somebody pays the difference and all that, and everybody's happy. They wanted it, they're willing to pay it. It's me.
So what if you have a product that doesn't necessarily, is not necessarily legal in all countries? Is it up to you to monitor, or will like eBay be like?
When I teach an eBay class, I'll show you their prohibited and restricted item list. But Amazon, eBay, Etsy all has, if you'll go into their help button, type in prohibited or restricted items, they'll show you a list with links to what exactly is either totally prohibited or has some kind of restriction. Like eBay's got used clothing in their prohibited and restricted item list. It's one of their biggest sellers. You can sell used clothing, but they've got restrictions on how you've got to sell it. One of their restrictions is it has to be laundered. That's their official language. I call it cleaned, or you got to wash it. They call it has to be laundered. Yeah. Does eBay know if I washed the clothes or not? Who does? Yeah, so some of these rules will be policed by the customer. They'll tell eBay, hey, I bought a box full of used clothes from Nick, hey, it was very stinky when I got it. I want my money back.
But like, for instance, like, I have a lot of corporate, like, thinking. So like with Adam and Eve, we call them red states, right? So let's say Florida can't do a certain type of content, right? And so in their cart, it automatically flag it.
It won't do that. You'll have to look. What'll happen is this, eBay's got an algorithm that when you start listing something that's totally prohibited, like a gun, for example, can't sell guns on eBay, Amazon, anywhere. There's rules, felons can't have guns in most states. How do they know who's a felon and who's not? So no guns. You can sell gun stuff, gun go with. I get a lot of people in the South that does that kind of business, so they're wanting to know, what can I do?
I've seen some sellers sell alcohol.
I was going to mention that one next. Yeah, everybody got into North Carolina into the winemaking business. Everybody's growing grapes. I had 3 vineyards on my road for a while. They're all back in cow lots, cow fields now. Cows are back on, because they couldn't make any money doing it after that. They're not going to pay $20 a bottle for Mayberry wine, believe it or not. They're going to buy something from California and they'll buy it.
They're gonna get a box of wine that's $20 for 4 bottles.
But when it was hot, I had a lot of people asking me, I'm growing grapes. We have a co-op in Mount Airy that bottles our wine, puts your private label on it. So we got the whole setup. They asked me, can I sell my wine on eBay? You can. You got to jump through hoops though. It's just like if you had a brick and mortar store that wanted to sell alcohol.
Yeah.
You got to have a liquor license, you got to be bonded, and all the stuff.
There's so many restrictions on just mailing or selling
Yeah.
alcohol.
And you have to have somebody 21 to sign for it.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
have
There's
to
a
have
lot of
sign.
rules with it, but you can do it. eBay will let you do it. I'm sure Amazon will too. But that's, it's hoops to jump through, but wins are not hoops. Government
Do
bureaucracy.
you sell alcohol?
Dom Perignon,
I'll send it.
a lot of 90s.
What's free samples? You got anything? What's going on?
You know what, I went into
You
a,
just come for beer out there too, so by
I
the way.
went into a Sam's Club, and they were selling bottles of Moet for $24 a bottle, and I was like, I don't know what they're doing.
Wow.
I did.
Yeah.
And then they had boxes and boxes, and they had boxes of 1996 Dom Perignon, and they were selling it for $20 a bottle. And I said, how many you got to buy? And I bought them all.
Yeah,
And I said, I want to sell these on eBay. And then like eBay won't let you sell the alcohol. And I'm like,
you'll have to jump through the hoops and go to trouble, get bonded.
yeah, just for, yeah.
Yeah, but I get it. I mean, it's a regulated thing.
Yeah.
They want to know who's doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so. Talk a little bit about Etsy. We have all night, sales are up, they're big, 819 million in 2019. Their sales boomed almost more than anybody's during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Now, Amazon's went way up, but Etsy's went way up. Amazon sold, they went from, I think, 200 and something, 260 to 390. Huge jump, way more dollar amount, but Etsy's volume of sales went way up more than anybody's. Everybody's out of work and everybody's trying to figure out what can I make and sell. I gotta get some money. And they're boom. Yeah, they went crazy. And a lot of people will stay with it and say, hey, this is pretty neat. I stay at home, make these things and live a totally different life than I was used to. So their sales are up into the billions. I'm thinking it's 4 or 5 billion or something. They really did boom a lot. Sales go up. These are, it's just a few little stats. I don't want to spend tons of time on it. Etsy, some of the pros and cons. We've been talking about some of them. You don't have to do a lot to get it up and out, running this out of the box pretty quick. It's just really plain and boring. And Etsy has a plus plan that's $10 a month that gives you a fancier banner. The top of they call your homepage an Etsy shop. You can dress up your banner, make it look better than mine, hers looks better than mine, because she might want to pay $10 a month to do that. You get a couple other bells and whistles with it. I talk about it in the class. But there's instant trust. I mentioned this already. I'm not making fun of you guys that want your own website. But your website doesn't exist to any of those Etsy people. They don't know you've got a place selling that, and they want that. They just don't know you do it. You're not going to show up on Google. We're nobody's. It's hard. It's
A
tough.
lot of people aren't going on Google to get that stuff, like they're not gonna go search for a cookie place on Google.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like Google. I don't know who in this room don't like Google.
I mean.
Do they spy too much?
I don't like
Two biggest spy agencies in the world, Google and who else? Facebook.
Yeah.
Now, you may not believe this, but about half of Facebook's income, they make trillions, comes from the governments of all the countries buying information that they data mine, spy on.
Now the DNA company, so if you guys have been.
I'm not making fun of them. I'm not one of the conspiracy theorists or anything. I don't care what they do. I'm bored. They're not getting anything good out of me. But that's how they do it. But you'll get instant customer trust. People know who Etsy is, they trust them. You know, they've got the name already, and your website does not. Some of the cons, no control over it at all. If they want to go up on their fees, they can. They want to change some policy, they can. You can't put, they make it really hard to put links in places, like you can't put email sign-up links in your listings. You can try, as long as you don't get caught, you're all right. When they catch you, they'll warn you. And if you keep doing it, they'll eventually kick you off. Because they know what you're trying to do. They know you're trying to use Etsy to find customers and send them somewhere else to sell it, but there's no fees. Well, they would go out of business if everybody did that. You know, I get it, I understand it. So the thing to do is, if you can keep up all the email addresses like she gets as she sells and the years go by, and she gets a big email newsletter list from her Etsy or in eBay and Amazon sales, she can get, when she thinks it's big enough, she can email all those people and say, I'm opening up my own website. Prices will be cheaper because I don't have to pay fees. And here's the link, come over, I'm even giving you a coupon for X off your first purchase. That's what most of us do. The stats show she's got 500 people she sends that email to. How many do you think is going to go to her website?
Like 10. It is, like, yeah.
It's like 2 or 3% will go. She's closer. Yep, you think they'd all be interested in that?
I'm
Look,
gonna get click for this.
people are loyal to their sites. It's, you know, it's the mall on Amazon and eBay and Etsy. Everything's there. I don't want to go to one place where I don't know her.
Their credit card's already set up there. They have- yeah.
Is she safe? Does she have SSL certificate on her website? That means it's encrypted if somebody hacks into it. You know, we don't trust anybody anymore. I don't want to give you my credit card number. Is she gonna keep it safe? Do y'all think like that, or am I the only one that thinks that way?
No, you're right.
No,
Everybody thinks that way.
I even feel that when I go to like a Bell gas station.
It's,
I'm like, they're gonna hack my credit card.
so that's the sad part. That's why I say the websites, I teach website building classes because some of you guys are gonna want one anyway. No matter what I tell you, you're gonna go for that. I just like to tell you up front, because I'd rather you succeed quick instead of slow or give up, and you might could have made it. But that's the hard reality. If you tell 500 people, you know, 50 of them, 40 of them is gonna come and look at your website. And some of them will buy, some of them will be afraid to. So you're only gonna get a fraction of the ones that actually come, which is a fraction already. It's sad, but it's true. They've done numerous surveys for many, many years, and the numbers just don't change. If anything, they get worse as to who will go. And because they don't care that you're gonna make more money. They don't care what eBay's charging you or Etsy. They could care less. They're just looking for a product, right?
And also on all these websites, you can chat with your customers too. So what I do is whenever they buy,
Yeah.
it gives you the option to like message them, and then I'll just be like, hey, next time you buy, if you want to go look at my website, it's cheaper.
Hi, Nancy.
Or the easiest place to add
There's a place for you,
Etsy.
a place for your work, your passion, and your story from home, where you can turn what you love into a business and watch it grow, where you can connect the dots between where you are and where you want to. There's a place for you, a place for your work, your passion, and your story from home, where you can turn what you love into a business and watch it grow, where you can connect the dots between where you are and where you want to be.
3 years ago, I had opportunity to do what I really wanted to do, and I really wanted to sell my work. I wanted to do what I love. I wanted to run my own business.
Running a business online is a thrilling and challenging opportunity. And Etsy provides an easy and seamless process so that you can open your own shop and start selling.
What is so great about Etsy is that it gives you the power to put the shop in your own hands. It's so amazing that we're able to sell directly to customers.
And do what we love, creative.
And there are no membership fees. You simply pay 20 cents in US dollars to list an item. And then your products will live in your vibrant Etsy marketplace, available to over 20 million individual shoppers.
What I really enjoy about being an Etsy seller is being able to get the customer involved in the whole process. We're able to interact at every stage. There is very generous feedback that makes you a greater entrepreneur and a greater seller and a greater professional.
Being a part of a community is automatically bringing people to our shop.
Who otherwise would stumble across our product.
Connecting with someone on a deeper level, having a conversation with them about what they want, how they want it, and actually making it happen. That's exciting. That's probably the most exciting part. It's nice to know that someone really values my work, and it makes me happy to know that I can make someone else happy.
Etsy allows us to grow together, creating a collective good through goods.
I know that kind of stuff's a little fluffy, but I want you to have a chance to see sort of what at least people are saying about it and those kind of things. So that you got some kind of idea of what's, happening on those sites and those kind of things. So they mentioned the fees and everything. It's the only place that makes you pay a fee to list your item. That's the thing people don't like about it. It's not a lot, it's 20 cents, it's good for 4 months, so it's a nickel a month. It's not like it's a lot, but if you got a lot of volume of items, it can get to be, a lot of, decent. I guess everything's relative, but it could be a lot of money for some. But it's 5% when it does sell in the payment processing fee. And everybody's charging a payment processing fee.
Yeah.
Amazon's is built into their 15%, so that's part of the reason it's high. eBay's is 10, and then you add it on. Well, they got their own new payment system now. It doesn't really have a name, but it's a little bit cheaper than 2.9. It's about 2.6 most of the time. You think it's not much difference, and it's not, but sometimes it's 2.4. But if you can save half of a percentage point over tens of thousands of dollars of sales, it adds up to some money you get to keep instead of lose. I'm all right with it. But Etsy is by far the cheapest place that you can sell your own product at 8%. What do you think? Now you can sell, I don't make anything. This is a joke, and I'm truly joking when I say this, but I don't like her and whoever else said they were making stuff and selling it on Etsy. I'm envious of you guys. I don't like people that make their own products. You guys are your own product. That's not fair. I've got to think up what I think people want, research it, find it out. Then I got to source the product cheap enough that I can buy it and sell it and make money on it. It's hard to do. She can just wake up with I'm going to make a so-and-so, and people love it. I don't think it's right, but it is what it is. And I am envious of people that do that. That's a great talent to have. Not just trying to, make somebody feel good, but it's true. In the business world, the majority of us are trying to figure out what everybody wants. Then we got to figure out where to buy it, cheap enough that we can make money. And price doesn't come into being as much. I mean, there's always some kind of, price limit for anything. But, I don't know what she charges for that. But people will, if they like it, they'll pay it.
That's one of the things that I've heard over and over and over. People will buy what they want. They will pay for what
In
they
the
want.
antique world, I sell little boxes for $200, $300. Y'all want some? I got some in the trunk. Just in case. A couple Kohler faucets, a few boxes, maybe some glass jar candles. Y'all need any? I'll hook you up. I'm just joking, but you know what I'm saying? How many people wants a little wooden box they hang on the wall for $300 and it's this big?
What got you looking at the eBay that made you stop doing the corporate thing and start doing the eBay thing?
Well,
you find a little brown box and it's sold for $300, you got addicted to it? Or?
Well, was you here when I told you the first item I sold story on eBay? Yeah, so I had a brick and mortar store, no eBay. It didn't exist. eBay comes into being, I like buying on it. I'm thinking if I like buying antiques on it, my customers probably do too. So I started using it. So I got a couple businesses down, lady comes in, she's got junk she's collected her whole life. We get to be friends. She says, you want to buy my junk? And I give her money. She uses the money to buy my junk. We're swapping junk.
Right.
She had a little Beatles talcum powder tin. It's from the 60s. And I put it on eBay. First item I'd ever tried. It brought $550 in an auction. I'm thinking, wow, you know, this is great. I mean, that in my shop, I would have asked $25 for it and probably sit there for a year before somebody wanted it, you know?
How
So-
long after that before you shut down the brick and mortar and start going?
Within 3 years, 3 years later, I sold my brick and mortars. I had more than one. I sold all of them I had to somebody that was retiring and wanted to sit there with me. Now, I had brick and mortars that were open 7 days a week. I closed Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. You lived there. It was your home. I liked it. I'm not complaining, you know, I liked the job. It was good, had good, you know, good parts to it, but it was, you lived there. I got up in the morning, went to work, was there till 6:30, 7 o'clock, drove home, ate, go to bed, rinse and repeat. That kind of thing. I had hair about that. But, you know, I just realized within 3 years, my eBay sales were 60% of what I was making overall. They got to be over half in the third year. And I thought, you know, if I didn't have to sit here 7 days a week, I'd have more time to find stuff, list stuff, more time to ship stuff. And I sold out and went online and never looked back, never regretted it. Now, at
So
some
you left
point,
corporate to go to open a store.
I left corporate to open my own business, and then I left my brick and mortar to do it from home. So I've told you, I gotta be smarter than I look. I've slowly figured out. I live a pretty good life. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not super rich. I sell at a level, you might not believe this now, but I can get too busy selling online. It will get to be more than I need it to be. I know people says it can't happen. That's not possible. Well, it just depends on who you are and what your goals are. It's the more important things to me than money. I want enough to live and do things and go. My wife is a guidance counselor. She doesn't work during the summer. I homeschool my kids. I can shut my business down. We'll take June and July and just go places for a couple months. Now, a lot of people can't do that. They can't get out of work to do that, or they couldn't afford it if they could get out of work. So I'm lucky. I live a good life. I get up when I want to, feed my kids breakfast, wash some clothes, list some stuff, do a webinar, you know, instead of a seated seminar from home. I've got one of these laptop holders with a big cushion on it. I sit in a recliner, the arm over here, I put the mouse. You know, that's pretty lazy. That's lazy man's work. They're paying me to do that, and while I'm doing it, my phone, I turn off my ringer for the ka-ching, but you'll get the ka-ching
I like the
thing every time I sell something,
I
ka-ching.
like the ka-ching.
Yeah, I turn it off when I'm teaching instead of doing, because, you know, sometimes it's good to leave it on. I forget. People say, what is that? Well, I'm making money while I'm talking about it.
I'll get
So
in my sleep and just be like, geez.
I'm not
Put it to sleep.
greedy or nothing. Like I say, I wake up every morning. First thing I have to do is see what I've sold, just so I know what I need to get ready. How much is it? How hard do I need to make? If it's only 5 or 6 things, okay, I can wait a while. If it's 15 things, I gotta get up and start getting some stuff boxed up. But it takes a while. That's part of your job, you know. That's some of the downsides of it too. That Amazon FBA takes all that out if you want to do Amazon. They got somebody boxing all that stuff up for you. It's a prime item. Yeah, they charge a little more, but you're gonna do more volume.
So how does the forecasting work with it? Like, do they contact you and say, okay, this stock is low?
Yeah,
We
they
need to
will.
replenish, okay.
And they'll also do it the other way around. I don't know if anybody here's done FBA or not, but if your stuff's not selling, they'll give you a big, real tersely worded email that says, you need to change something, which is common, you know, which is, they're saying you need to lower your prices. Nobody wants your stuff, you're too high.
It has to be a product, right?
No, you can send them a box. They'll take a box. They'll take one item if you want to see the two. They don't
As long
care.
as it has that barcode on there, they'll take one item. If you ain't want something, and then they'll tell you we're low or whatever.
They're
You don't
good.
need it.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
But,
What about your eBay and taxes? How are you doing taxes?
what kind of taxes?
So federal tax.
Sales, you talking about income or sales?
Income tax.
So the sales tax eBay, Etsy, Amazon collects it and remits it for you. If you've got your own website, a lot of times your payment system won't do it. And I don't know if you've tried to send in 50 cents of sales tax. You gotta buy a 55-cent stamp, an envelope, 2 hours to research who is the person in that county, in that state. It's crazy. They're going to come up with a solution where they're going to exempt small businesses at some point, hopefully. They're saying it's either going to be 250,000 a year in sales up to, some of them are saying they want it to be 500,000. But somewhere in there is going to be a rule that says, so 49 states went to that rule of you got to collect it and send it in for internet sales. And 3 of them have already changed it back to, went back to the way it was. I think more will do that. You'll see some states say, this is not fair, we're killing small business, because this is a whole nother layer of work for them to send in $1 worth of sales tax. They're spending an hour of manpower on an employee, they're paying $15 an hour to send somebody $1 worth of sales tax. It's crazy, counterproductive. But the income tax is a business. You gotta have some kind of record keeping system. There's a million of them. There's a lot of them that'll jihad with, that's a good country term for you. It means it works well with. Y'all know that term?
No, that happened to me all my life.
I say a lot of country stuff, but that is one.
Cooper says, hey, I live in the country, people. But they've got software, accounting software that is made specifically for eBay, Amazon, Etsy. So you can buy eBay software and pay for it all up front, but most of them want to rent it to you now. Nobody will sell you anything anymore. You pay $10 a month to return it. But you link your eBay account to their software and they automatically know every sale you make. Now, obviously you'll have to do something. They don't know what you've got in it. And they'll have other columns where you can put in not just what you paid for it, but expenses that were entailed while buying this product. No, shipping column, but they'll know how much shipping was, how much the fees were, how much it sold for. You put in what you paid and any other expenses and it'll total it for you and show you your profit. It's pretty good.
I saw where QuickBooks has popped up on my Square, on my back end, where they've done the integration.
Yeah.
Personal business.
So there's a lot of software companies that tailor their stuff for a specific, e-commerce platform. So that works itself out pretty quick. I've been doing it so long, there were no partners back in the day. When I started, there wasn't anybody. eBay wasn't big enough to have anybody say it.
I just didn't know if they sent you a report or a yearly report or something that you needed to file.
I pay quarterly taxes, like most businesses. If you want to, you can do it monthly, but I just do it quarterly and send it in quarterly to them. And, at the end of the year, I still owe them. It's just the way it is.
I didn't know if it was certain dollar amount you had to hit as a seller.
Well, there's a rule for online sales. I'll tell you what it is. It's been in effect since 2011, I think, is when it went into effect. Might have been 10, but it's the 2050, 60 or something is the name of the law. But anyway, it's this for online sales. If you sell, you got to sell $20,000 a year. This is the key to it right here now. And sell over 200, have 200 transactions to the same e-commerce platform in a year. It's got to be both. It can't be 20,000 and 100 sales. It's got to be 20,000 and at least 200 sales transactions. And then that entity will generate a 1099-K.
Yeah.
And you'll get a K designation, cash. So I guess, I don't know, you owe cash. But anyway, that's the rule. Now, I'm not trying to tell you to cheat the government or anything at all. I'm not definitely, but that's the parameter. So like if I sold $200,000 a year and had 199 transactions, that entity doesn't report anything. And it's totally up to you to report your sales. Okay? Just like if you got a brick and mortar over here across the road, does the government know how much you sell? They don't have a clue what you sell. It's up to you to report it. Same way for e-commerce. But if it reaches those parameters, you'll get the 1099-K, and the state and feds will both be told this is what Nick sold. So,
Just really quick, I wanted to say something, just it's a little off on the marketing side, I didn't want to lose it, but if you're shipping stuff, make sure you try to offer the fastest shipping, because when people are buying stuff online, they want it right.
It's the
It's
Amazon.
very
effect.
hard when people don't get something and they're like, oh, it's gonna take a week to get to me, never mind. So I just, because I've done some research on that, like if you can do 2 to 3 day shipping.
We call it the Amazon effect in the business world. It's one of those things where Amazon has trained us, to expect everything. It used to be 2-day free shipping, then it went to 1 day. Depending on how close you are to an Amazon warehouse, it can be same day.
I've gotten in 2 hours. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I live way out in the country.
Yeah.
And obviously, my dad lives a few miles away. He knows what I do for a living. But he called me a couple years ago and he said, you will not believe it. I ordered something about 8:30 from Amazon, paid for it. The guy just dropped it off in one of them Amazon vans you see riding around everywhere now.
Yeah.
He brought it about 2:30. He brought it to us. We live in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if you guys know where Mount Airy is or not. It's-
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, it's way up the road, it's borders Virginia, so it's amazing that they get it there that quickly, so. What are you guys thinking? Questions, comments?
Yes,
Yeah, we got some, do we have till 8 o'clock? Is that what we got? So we got a little bit of time left. I wanted to try to end in time to, answer specifics or that kind of thing, so yes, ma'am.
So I can make my own men's grooming product. And I have been searching to find a place that can do it for me, that's all of them.
Okay.
Do you assist with the whole process?
I have products made myself. I've got companies that I do business with in other countries that make products for me. Like I've got a product I sell on eBay that typically costs me about $7 to get it. I buy them in quantities. I've got $7 each, and I usually sell them somewhere in the $100 to $110.
Yes.
So there are companies that will make your products for you any way you want. The more special things you want, the more they'll charge, obviously, but they'll do it. I'm not trying to get more work from Sarah back there or anything, but I'm teaching a finding the perfect product class, and you can look it up on my website in that class schedule tab, and I'll show you
I was
some of
like,
the
what?
things.
I was like, why did I call me the wrong name? It's Brittany.
Oh, Brittany, sorry, I'm thinking
I was
Sarah,
like, yeah,
the girl that you introduced me to. Sorry about that. But she was the beer person, so I'm still thinking about her. She said it before, she said, you want a beer before you get started? And I'm thinking, no, I better not.
I make a hot sauce. My biggest thing is bottles. I have 3 different distributors that I need, but I know and I've researched to see if I can find something cheaper, something that's even local. Most of them are out of state.
What are you paying per bottle?
Right now, I'm paying about 40 to 50 cents a bottle.
How many ounces?
5. Some of them come with.
That's
the
pretty
lid.
good,
Some
but
of them come with the lid, and some, but is there a way where?
you can
Because I'm
buy
thinking, he gotta be buying from some, I know he's not making
yeah,
them.
no, you can get them from China cheaper.
I know, yeah, but how do I find?
It won't be too bad.
What I'm good.
If it was me, I'd buy plastic bottles instead of glass bottles. Much cheaper and
Yeah, but
people-
because of the
You want
BPA.
the weight of them's better. They make them BPA free and
Yeah,
everything.
no, I know, but
You'll be able to
it's just, like when we do events, because of the BPF, and even though they say it can't take a lot of heat, and then also I have to be able to, sterilization with that because it is a food product, and just because we're working on our FDA approval.
If you want to do glass, you can get it cheaper than that.
Yeah, I
overseas.
know, but so far I haven't found a way where I can find it.
Let's go to Alibaba.com, type in what
See,
you're
that's
looking
what
for.
when you said that, because I know they can even approach me from some of my.
There's just some tips and secrets you need to know before you can jump in on Alibaba. Now, I'm not making fun of China or anything,
No,
but you're dealing with another country and they've got different things going on. You need to know some of how this works, the in and outs, the people that have learned the hard way. And I can tell you all those kind of things. It's not something you can do just instantly. It takes a little time.
Yeah.
But there's payment systems you want to avoid and some you want to use.
Right.
And they'll give you some safeguards and those kind of things. So they're jihad.
Well, see, I used to be a corporate attorney, so.
Ah, so yeah.
I understand getting out of the corporate world, because that's where I started too. I did that for 5 years. And I said,
It's a miserable world.
I've done enough.
I don't see how people do it 30 years. Do you? I would just,
I was like, I can't, I don't know.
I did it for about 10 years and it
And
was
money
just like-
wasn't everything, because I made a lot of money.
yeah, there's more important stuff in life
I
than
never
money.
seen nobody except from my office.
Yeah.
You know how you had your bathroom?
Yeah,
I had a small apartment because by the time I got done with clients and stuff and doing what I need to do, he also, as a corporate attorney, he had to bring money to the law firm. So, plus winning your cases, you still, that's kind of law that I did.
you gotta bring something to the table or you're out.
I was spending 18 hours a day. I lived in California at that time. It was ridiculous.
What's your hot sauce called? I like.
It's a chili pepper water. It's a Kimo's Grind chili pepper water.
That's what happened here.
Oh, okay.
Have it on the counter.
Get you one and promote it.
Yeah. So with the Amazon, the one where you ship the bill.
I would do that.
Yeah. Baked goods, it's tough. I mean, is it something that has a good shelf life? Because like they won't do FBA on stuff that expires really fast. Because time you ship it and they get it in the system, it's already half done.
Yeah.
And then you gotta wait for it to sell and it's old. And they don't want to sell old stuff. I didn't know y'all people bring free samples. He's got liquor, he's got drink, he's got hot sauce, and you got pound cake. I could have brought a glass jar candle, we could have had a good time. That's,
I got CBD, I mean, you wanna.
that's it. And whatever else, she'll fix you up.
So do you just teach?
If his doesn't get you, hers will.
Do you teach classes or do you do one-on-one to help a person?
Well, I'm not trying to solicit any
No, no,
business
no,
from
no,
anybody. I don't want you to think I'm trying to say,
I need help.
but yeah, I
In
do that.
this year, I wanna know, like, this is a godsend, because I spent 6 years starting, stopping, and if I had someone who's done it themselves and who is able to teach and guide and walk through, then that's a godsend. So I know you're not trying to sell, but I just wanted to know.
Yeah, I don't mind helping somebody. I'll help for free as much as I can.
Mhm,
I really will. I'm one of them people, I don't have tons of time,
okay.
but I try to, I'm a small business owner. I know how hard it is. You guys, it's tough. It's tougher than you think.
Mhm.
It just, I mean, some people just gets lucky and the money falls out of the sky, but not most of it. Most of it is gonna be hard. You gotta tweak what you're doing. Maybe you sell something totally different. I sell sinks and faucets. I am not a plumber, but I found somebody that had access to that shared it with me, and man, there's money to be made. I met a guy in a class one time, and he was an older guy. It was right around 2008, right when the housing bubble burst. He was flipping houses. He'd buy one, live in it while he fixed it, and then sell it and buy another one, and that's what he did. He got a medical condition that took him out of the game. He says, after the class, he said, I've got some Kohler faucets that, will you just sell them for me and I'll pay you a commission? Well, I don't do that, so don't ask me. I don't have time. I got my own stuff. And I told him, but I felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
His mom was dying, she was in hospice, and he had a medical condition that was bad. And I thought, I'll help him. And I thought, he's got 2 or 3 faucets or something. He came to my house a couple of days later with a pickup full of it. And he said, this is my first load. And I'm thinking, what have I got myself into? I don't have time to do this. Well, he said, I'll put the model numbers and the price that I want you to sell it for. I'm gonna pay you a commission in each one. So he left, I opened up a box and he wanted like $349 for a faucet. And I thought, now I got a truckload of these things and this man's crazy. Waited about a week and I thought, he's gonna check my eBay and see I'm not listing them. So I put 2 on. One of them sold the same day and the other one sold like maybe 2 days later. And I thought, this guy might not be as crazy as I thought he was. And I started putting them on and I sold that whole load and he bought about half of another load. I sold that and I said, I just never knew these things would do. I didn't know. I grew up poor in the country and not that much self-made, but I'm self-made. I had to make it myself. And you appreciate it more sometimes when it don't fall to you or you inherit it or something. But anyway, he said, if you want to know where I get these, I'll tell you. And he told me, and I went and started buying them. And I show people where I buy them now when I teach that Finding the Perfect Product class. I'll show people. there's enough of a market on eBay and Amazon that we can all sell faucets. There's enough people that buy them that I can share with you secrets that most people won't share. I'm not trying to brag on me, but most people won't tell you where they get stuff because you're gonna go do it. And now you've got competition. And I used to wouldn't tell people. Many years ago, I decided I'd help people a little more because we need it. And now I'm not trying to brag. I don't want to pat on the back. I just want to help people. It's fun. I don't have to do this. I can sit at home and sell stuff, but I like to, you know, help people with a small business. I'll help you for free all that I can. But, you know. Questions?
I just think one thing for my little boy.
One sink. See, shoot, I sell sometimes in little bitty ones too.
So I'm actually in Amazon Black Business Accelerator.
Yeah.
And it's really great. We have a coach that they assign me, they give you advertising credits, $2,000.
That's good.
Yeah, it's great, but the only thing that they didn't mention was if the handmade puts you at a different, like, search on your algorithm.
It does.
Yeah, versus like just being in.
If you're in commodity products, see, everything, there's something to compare it to. When you start getting into handmade, yeah, there's a lot of people making purses, pocketbooks, handbags, whatever you want to call them, but they're all different, you know. So how do you rank those in an algorithm? It gets messed up.
Plus also, how do they really know it's handmade? Like, what if I don't say it's handmade?
Yeah. You know, Etsy fought that battle many years ago. This lady,
Because my goals our goals are handmade.
many years ago, this lady brought that to Etsy's attention. She got famous and made the tour on all the morning TV talk shows, you know, Good Morning America and Today and Oprah and all that kind of stuff. And she was a struggling small business and she made these little crocheted headbands. And she was going out of business in a brick and mortar and she went on Etsy when it was sort of trying to get popular. And it caught on and she started selling more of them than she could make and she had to hire people to help her make them. And the battle was fought, is that handmade if somebody else made it? Well, somebody else's hands made it. So they said, yeah, it is still handmade. It's her idea. She took it to the next step though, which really pushed the limits. She bought from China, totally made, like crocheted, yeah, hats, toboggans, whatever you want to call them, little crochet head coverings. And then she put 2 little wooden buttons and a little piece of lace. So her employees sewed 2 buttons and glued a little piece of lace or sewed a piece of lace on it and said, that's what I'm selling. And people started complaining because, you know, 98% of it was made in China. And Etsy, after a lot of debate, sided with her and said, well, you took a product and you changed it to something different. And we're going to let you sell it. So they'll let you do almost anything at Etsy because they're looking at it like money. You know, I want to make money. A lot of people didn't like it. This was several years ago.
But I mean, how does Amazon know it's handmade?
Yeah, they got the same kind of thing. They will look, but it's hardly ever do they kick anybody off. I know people that sells brand new stuff. I know a person that sells wreaths, like, you know, Christmas wreath, Halloween wreath, and they're buying them at Sam's and places when they put them on sale and stuff. And, you know, most of them don't even add anything to it. They just sell it just like it is. And talk. How do you know?
So what I'm saying is what if I didn't want to say it's handmade, so I could get searched in that first algorithm?
Yeah, usually they want you
do
to,
that.
they want you to have an Amazon inventory number. And it'll have to comply with something in their system. You can list a brand. When I teach an Amazon class, I show you how to list an item that's not in their system. But typically, they're all about commodity products. It's already been there, done that kind of thing. And you fall into it, it's already in the system. They've got the description, the pictures, the title, frequently asked questions, everything's already got it. Yeah, the UPC, the IBSN.
Cause like, I know people, like, I make my own product, like, I make it, no one else does.
Yeah, but you could have somebody help you.
But then there are people, I know people who order in bulk from somewhere else, slap a label on it, and call it all natural or handmade.
People got mad at Etsy and some sellers left and said that's not right. Most of them came back after a while because there was nowhere else that was going to make you money as well as Etsy would. Etsy's pretty good if you got something unique. If you got commodity, home, you know, ho-hum, run of the mill, you won't do any good on Etsy.
Cause like I make a natural bubble wrap. And you mentioned animals, that's all we said. Pets, was like, that's all we use. One hour pets.
They'll let you sell stuff like that.
Okay.
What do you do in the perfect drawing?
What do I, say that one more time.
When are you doing the perfect product?
When am I doing it? I'll pull it up on my website and see, talk to Brittany and see if she can talk her into, you know, I know it's shameless self-promotion, but
We need it.
Because I have a warehouse and a dump truck out filled with those color same
We
thing.
have our weeks are already set up.
Now,
Next door, we can do an add-on and bring y'all back.
I don't mind coming back, doing it in person or doing it on a webinar, but I've got all of my classes. You know, I work for a bunch of small business centers, you know, all over the country. Started out just in North Carolina. There's 58 of them in North Carolina. So I work for all of them, but now I work for a group in Pennsylvania, one in Ohio, one in Indiana, one in Michigan, one in Texas, sometimes one in Virginia. You know, it's just, as the years go by, I've been teaching them for 20 years. Somebody tells somebody and you end up working for a lot of places. So I'm teaching classes, like next week, I got 7 classes in 4 days, I think.
So do you have someone that does what you teach that can walk a person through it? Like, do you have?
It's just
connections
me.
with that? Okay.
Yeah, the army of one. I mean, it's a joke, but it's true. It's just me. It's just her problem.
But you could find people consultants.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, people hire me as a private consultant all the time. It just depends on if I've got time and how much time do you need. You know, most people need 4 or 5 hours and you can really help them. But I've had people that want you to babysit them and do it for them pretty much. Well, you know, that's how I'm running your business now.